33 a day, 12,000 a year. That's the number of children born in the United States with the most common birth defect, hearing loss. Additionally, the social implications of their hearing loss is staggering. The lifetime cost of education and rehab for a deaf child can be more than $1 million. Often described as the hurt that doesn't show, the impact of hearing loss on the children and their families is profound. When a child doesn't have access to sound before the age of 3, the ability to develop language may be lost forever.
Jacob is 8 months old, and he has a strong personality, but mainly he's a very happy baby. Jacob does not hear very low sounds, so whispering or some of the words, that's one of my concerns when he grows up. Some of the words he might confuse, like the S, the F, also the plural in the words. It was extremely important that he was diagnosed at 4 weeks old about his hearing loss, especially after meeting moms here in the Institute, and they tell me how lucky I am. Not everywhere here in the United States the hearing test is mandatory, and some of them find out later on, and at that point speech has already been affected. So for Jacob to be diagnosed at 4 weeks, I cannot be more grateful than that. So I'm very, very happy.
So Madison has bilateral moderate to severe hearing loss. She was diagnosed around 18 months. It affects her, I would say, mainly when she's not wearing her hearing aids. As long as she is amplified, she can pretty much go through her day, her routines, no problem.
Maddie was diagnosed relatively late when she was 18 months old. They really rallied, and now they're just so ready to do everything that they need to do for Maddie to be successful.
Madison was diagnosed at 18 months, so we were already a bit behind. However, because she was amplified at the right time, as soon as we knew that she had the hearing loss, she was able to then begin speech therapy. So the gap did get larger. Like I said, most children take off at the age of 2 and just start speaking 2, 3, almost full sentences. The words are just combined easily, where Madison has to work a lot harder.
Even though we diagnosed her late, I think that she has really caught up since she's been amplified and amplified appropriately. She is able to talk and listen just like any other little girl. So Elias is such a funny little guy. He came to us about a year ago. He was a year old. He has Treacher-Collins, so he has some facial anomalies. He also has bilateral microsteatresia, so he basically doesn't have an ear on the outside. But his inner ear is intact and it works fine. So it's just sort of like if you were walking around with earplugs in all day. He can't hear well at all without that Baha device that we gave him. So when he came here, it basically was as if he hadn't heard for that whole first year of his life. And the first time we put the Baha on him, he started crying hysterically because he just was not used to that at all. Anyone with Treacher-Collins typically have normal cognitive function. So for him, once we gave him access to the sound, he has the ability to use that to develop speech and language, and hopefully he will develop normal speech and language as he's been wearing it more consistently and is getting auditory verbal therapy.
Juliana is my biological daughter. She's 9 years old. She was born with Treacher-Collins syndrome. And Danica is also 9 years old, and she was adopted from Ukraine 2.5 years ago with Treacher-Collins syndrome also. My daughters are just sweet, wonderful, smart, funny kids that enjoy doing the same things that other 9-year-old girls do. Compassion, that's I think the #1 thing, and patience. It's been a long journey with both of the girls in very different ways, but just seeing your child go through the difficulties that they struggle through on a daily basis, be it medical related or school related or social related, I think it's fair to say I've got 2 pretty brave little girls.
Today, however, through a variety of treatments, we're able to give these children the gift of sound so that they may communicate through language and speech. Believing that change starts with dreams, our dream is one that we hope will enable children who are deaf or hard of hearing to create their own destinies. The University of Miami Ear Institute is currently positioned through the creation of a comprehensive, multi-specialty pediatric hearing loss center to become a comprehensive resource location for the identification, and management of children diagnosed with hearing loss across South Florida. Our success, however, depends upon the generosity of our donors, friends, and volunteers. Together, we believe we can ensure that all children who are deaf or hard of hearing have the opportunity to reach their full potential. Won't you help us open the door to sound for every child in need?
Thank you.